Good morning and happy Easter on this Sunday, April 9th. For some reason, as I was about 80% done editing today's video, the editing software stopped working. I don't know what's going on with that, but fortunately I was able to take what I had to another app and get it ready for you today. Not sure what's going on there, but I'll either figure it out or do something different. It might look a little different today, but here we go with today's day in history for April 9th. Happy Easter. Hi there and welcome to this day in history for April 9th. April 9th is the 99th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 100th in leap years, with 266 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is loquacious. Loquacious is an adjective that means talkative, wordy, given to fluent or excessive talk, garrulous. The word loquacious comes to us from Latin. First known use of the word loquacious is in the mid-1600s, loquacious. And with that, this is the birthday of English Puritan clergyman John Davenport, born April 9th, 1597. He was co-founder of a small English colony called New Haven that existed from 1637 to 1664 in what is now Connecticut. Now, that's only 27 years, and I couldn't help but wonder, why did this colony only last 27 years? Well, it happens that Davenport had come to America with a patent for a colony in Massachusetts. And while he was over here on this continent, he found an area between Boston and an area that was at the time called New Amsterdam, now known as New York. He found this area and he thought it would be an excellent location for trade, fur trade, farming, and so on. So he and his classmate, a businessman named Theophilus Eaton, set about to create a settlement there. Unfortunately, they did not have a charter for this enterprise, which ultimately led them to being considered squatters. In addition, setting up the trade that they expected was more difficult than they had anticipated. The land was not agreeable to farming, and they were kind of exclusive in terms of religion, which limited their options in terms of attracting skilled people to help them get this thing off the ground. Their political system, for example, was limited to church members only, and their refusal to open eligibility to other folks alienated people who could have been helpful to them. I have a personal motto: don't alienate people who can be helpful to you. I think maybe they didn't have that particular one. Connecticut, on the other hand, did have a charter and apparently were somewhat territorial, and they applied military force to overtake the New Haven settlements. John Davenport lived to the age of 73. Billy the Kid was convicted of murder on April 9th, 1880, but before he could be hanged, Billy escaped jail. Always a life of wild adventure with Billy the Kid. The United States Atomic Energy Commission was formed on April 9, 1945. The Pacific Electric Railway in Los Angeles, once the largest electric railway in the world, ended operations on April 9, 1961. The first indoor baseball game was played in Astrodome when it opened on April 9, 1965. Now here's a story for you. Graham Backhouse had increased his wife's life insurance and created false threats implicating his neighbor. On April 9, 1984, he set a car bomb on his car and sent his wife Margaret on an errand in his car. She was seriously injured, but she didn't die. Passers-by found her and rushed her to the hospital. To avoid detection, Backhouse framed and killed his neighbor, Colin Bedell Taylor. This is the same neighbor that he had previously attempted to implicate. Backhouse was convicted in 1985 and sentenced to life in prison. Let me just pause for a moment here to say that there are some additional episodes for April 9th where I mention other things that happened on April 9th throughout history, and I'll include links to those episodes in case you'd like to see them. Today's song is You're My Soul and Inspiration by the Righteous Brothers. The Righteous Brothers had left Phil Spector and moved to a new label in late 1965. Soul and Inspiration was still in the process of being written by Barry Mann and Cynthia Weil when they made this move. The Righteous Brothers were able to imitate Phil Spector's wall of sound technique in this record, and it was released in February of 1966. It hit number 1 on April 9th, 1966, and held that spot for 3 weeks. It's a lovely song and has been covered by several other artists. You're My Soul and Inspiration by the Righteous Brothers. Link in the description. Did I say 19th? It's not the 19th yet. Attracting. Just read the whole thing over.